Make sure your phones are on mute. Hello, everyone. Welcome. This is Fernando Letta. I'm with Texas United Realty and United Real Estate. Today, we're going to be talking about farming for prospective buyers using leased properties that have leased in your neighborhood as an example. So today's agenda will be what does farming in real estate mean? How to use matrix data to find prospective buyers from leased properties. Exporting prospective buyers using Excel for tracking purposes. I also have some sample letters that you guys can use to mail out to these prospective buyers, and also preparing for your first appointment. So what is farming? The term farming means a marketing technique, which a lot of us use, and to develop a business target in a specific area or market demographic. The farm area, for example, in this example, means getting leads and contacts. Yes. Is farming effective? Yes, it is. I've used it in the past when I was trying to grow my business. Realistic farming is very effective because we're specifically targeting certain properties with a method that adds particular value. There are two types of real estate farming. One is a geographic, that's like targeting neighborhoods, zip codes, and we'll be doing that as an example today. Also demographic, it could be another farming, which is a niche farming. For example, it could be anybody that's 55 plus. Let's go ahead and get started. In this example, I'm going to be using is targeting my own neighborhood where I live to see all the leases that were leased in 2021. I'm going to pick the months of July, August, and September of 2021 in my criteria. We can speculate that these renters leases will probably be expiring this year in 2022. Typically, renters sign a 1-year lease, so that's the reason why I'm picking July, August, and September. So the first thing you do is on these steps is to generate an initial data to Excel. But first we need to do the selection of the criteria. We do a rental search, click on the search, then rental quick rental. We select all the sold only for rentals. We type in the data range. In this example is 0701 through September 30th. And then for the subdivision, we'll put in the Three Lakes East is where I live, and then you click on the results. Once you do that, then you can select all the rows of that data that show up on your results, and then you can click on export in the command bar to export it in the file. So that's typically the instructions. And now we're going to go ahead and do a demo so you guys can see it live. So in Matrix, you click on search, then quick rental. And then usually the default is active is always enabled. So you need to turn that off and click on sold only, because that's what we want to see. And then here's where you put in the data. 0701 through September 1 through 09/30/21. So this is the date range that I want to see, and typically this is where I'm assuming that the leases will end during this time, because now this is when they signed when they moved in 2021. Then I'm going to put in the subdivision, Three Lakes East, and that's really about it. Click on results, and we have about 10 results. So these are all the leases that were sold. We usually use the word sold last year, in other words, when they moved in, and the listing agent put that it was closed or sold. So we can assume that their leases are probably going to be coming up this year. Okay. Once you do that, you can select all the rows by clicking this toggle switch, and then click on export. And that's going to be exporting it to a CSV file, which stands for comma separated value. And that's an Excel can read that. Then you click on export and it downloads it and it makes it that file. And then you can just grab that file and it looks kind of something like this. Okay. Now I've already modified it somewhat, so that's why it looks like this, but usually it's not modified this way. This column that's in yellow, that's something that I inserted after the fact. And you can do that by just doing an insert column in Excel. And then what I did here is I start putting notes. I put notes of when I send a letter, when they contacted me, and you start accumulating information that way. Okay, so let me show you an example of a letter that I've sent in the past. See if I can move it up here.
Fernando,
Yes.
did you do that by zip code or by like subdivision name when you did that?
Well, I did 3 Lakes East, which is my subdivision.
Okay, you just did your subdivision. Okay.
But you can do zip code or whatever you feel like.
Okay.
So here's an example of a letter. I'm trying to see why is it not. It's not moving up. I'm going to open that letter up because it looks like it kind of locked up there. But yeah, you can do it by zip code, by whatever you wish. It's not opening up the letter. It's strange. Well, here's another letter, but I don't know why it's not opening it up. I had it already ready to go. This is just regular Microsoft Word letters. Oh, here it goes. Okay, it opened up finally. So here my letter has a letterhead. I would suggest you get a letterhead from us. That way it looks more official. And then I just wrote, now keep in mind, this Excel spreadsheet doesn't have the names of the people that are renting. Of course, we don't have that information. So you're going to have to say to whom it may concern in that case. So I just wrote, I'm a real estate agent, live in the neighborhood. I've been noticing the rental prices going up. I was doing some research and I noticed that June 2022, the 1950. You know, I'm sure you're thinking about buying instead of renting. Send me a text, you know, like that. We can talk about it. Then I also wrote on here, our brokerage has many great vendors that assist with loan programs for first-time home buyers and have companies they work with credit repair. We can also connect you with companies that provide programs for home ownership while you rent and down payment assistance. So at least that's a catch there that I use there so they can go, this is interesting. And then you have your information as far as that. So I typically will send this letter out and then I'll put it on here saying I sent the first letter on July 1st. You see how all of them will say something like that. Then let's just say that you get a call back or a text. You can then write and add it to your spreadsheet. Receive text from renters on 7/3. We'll confirm an appointment. You know, this one, Johnson called me, Frank Johnson called me and he said that they're talking about finding another rental. We'll schedule an appointment, you know, so you can start making your notes here with this particular example. So let's just assume that you don't get anybody that responds. You can then send a second letter and you can say, to whom it may concern, this is a follow-up from my previous letter that I had sent you on July 1st. And then you can kind of do a little quick summary and see if maybe they'll call you after that. Okay. Now, typically when I send these letters out, I usually put my business card in there too. So you can do that. Or some realtors, instead of putting this right here, they'll actually imprint their business card as well. So yeah, if you put a picture of yourself, that's even better. Putting a picture in here too, that's also welcome. That's a good idea. So that's what I tend to do. And where we look at the sample letters. So the next step is preparing for an appointment. Of course, schedule the date and time for the appointment for the first meeting. I would highly recommend you meet at a neutral place, especially you're dealing with strangers, and go to the Grant office or the Bar Park office or Starbucks or Panera Bread. Just kind of meet somewhere in public. Make sure to be on time on your appointment. Dress the part, of course, for every meeting. And then some handouts, take your business cards, take some flyers, co-branding, information on the buying process, setting an action plan with the buyers to purchase a home. Preparation is always the key. If you show up smiling, confident, and excited, you'll attract back confidence yourself. And here's some samples of some flyers that you can take. This is like from Christy Rogers, and of course this is kind of cute here, Caitlin Minion, but you can put your face in here with Texas United Realty or United Real Estate, and say, should you buy a home or rent, you can take this flyer with you. Here's another one. Why use a realtor? You can take that with you as a handout. And this is a real good action plan that you can use for buying the first home. It gives them 10 steps that they can take, and then you guys, between you and your potential prospect, you can go through these steps. Here's additional information. If they continue to rent and rent and rent, how many years? In 5 years, let's just say they rent something for $1,600. In 5 years, they already spent $96,000 just in 5 years with renting a house for $1,600. So this could be an eye opener for them. Here's a timeline that you can also show them, that you can say this is the process. You can work with Allegiance Title to put some of your information in there. There's some additional information too that you can provide. Home financing choices you can talk to them about. And then here's what happens from contract to close whenever they do get a contract. You can talk about these steps. So these are pretty good handouts that you can take with you to your appointment. Let's see. Another sources that I had mentioned, if they want to know about, well, we're not sure if we can afford a home or other things, there's some programs that you can, I would strongly suggest you go to these websites first, register, maybe take some webinars. They're free to us as realtors, and learn about it. But like Divvy Homes helps with ownership. They find a house, they use a realtor like us to find a house. We become the buyer agent for Divvy Homes, and then as soon as that home is closed with Divvy Homes, we get our commission check, and then the client just rents it out from Divvy Homes. And here's some qualifications that they require from Divvy Homes. Another group is this grpcdc.org. That's another group that can help with buyers, potential buyers that are renters, and get them qualified as well. So you can provide this information to them too. There's some handouts of these companies that are marketing handouts that you can take with you to your appointment. They're real helpful as well. So a summary, real estate. Well, let me see. I think somebody's asking some questions here first. Yeah. As far as these documents, I can post them on our church training folder, or you can send me an email as well. And so I can do that. So a summary, real estate farming is really effective. I've used it in the past. In my experience, I had targeted Spring Branch many years ago, and I was sending like 250 to 350 letters out. And I would just say, hey, are y'all looking to buy? You're looking to sell? Because you can also do these as for selling as well. You can find out who the owners are, because typically the people that are renting this house, also the owners that own this house, are probably maybe thinking about selling that house too, and you can target them as well. Um, and I actually got, out of 250, I probably got maybe 10 responses, but then I got 2 people that were real hot leads. And one of them, I actually sold her house in Spring Branch, and then she moved to Hempstead. So I got 2 transactions out of that one. And then the other one, the sister was the one receiving my letters, but she never really did anything. But her sister, who lived in Laredo, Texas, was thinking about investing, and her sister told that sister about me. And she's been one of my investors, and I've been talking to her probably for 10 years now, and she's bought over 20 houses that she rents. So just with those letters that I was doing farming, that really was amazing. So I really strongly believe in farming. You should start targeting your own neighborhood. Don't go somewhere else that you don't know about. Always use your own neighborhood, or a neighborhood that you're very familiar with. I would suggest you run a CMA on the rentals leased in that area, so you're familiar with the pricings, the high, mediums, and lows. Run a CMA on the houses sold in that same area as well. Connect with the sponsor to go to get these flyers co-branded for your own purposes, where it has your own business cards. This also shows a support behind you, a support team behind you. Very important that you show up to the appointment on time. Very, very critical. Every meeting with the client, you must dress the part. Preparation is the key. If you show up smiling, confident, and excited, you will probably attract back confidence and excitement as well. So I'm just ready for questions if anybody has any questions. Just make sure you unmute your.
Do you have a contact with Divvy Homes, or should we just go online and sign up and refer buyers?
They love realtors. Yeah, I think I have it on here on one of my websites. Let me see. Here's Divvy Homes right here.
Fernando, you have to be in their network to get paid, or you can just, because I've been hearing, I actually had a client that was with them, but it didn't go well. So they end up switching back to me and just going regular loan, because I guess the way it went. But however, I've been hearing about them a lot. So do you have to have be in their data?
You have to be registered with them, yes, because
okay.
The way it worked, because Stacy Foster actually did a webinar on this a couple of months ago, a couple of sessions ago, and I spoke to her as well. She's very familiar with DV Homes and that grpcdc.org as well. And what she told me was, you become the buyer agent for Divvy Homes. In other words, you represent Divvy Homes. And so you don't represent that client. Now, you're connected to the client in their DV network system, because that's how it all works. In other words, Divvy Homes works with the realtor, works with the tenant. They're all 3 of them are a team. So that's the way it works. But I would suggest you go in here and register yourself, go attend the webinars that they have. If there's any certifications that they give you, attend those, and then download all their marketing. So like that, you can take it as a packet with you. Here's the GRP Community Development Corporation. Again, they like realtors, so just click on it and get connected. So they're real helpful for you to do that. The more you can offer a tenant, or potential prospect, go with information, because the way I want you guys to think is you're problem solvers. You're solving a problem, and there might be like when they get when they get your letter, in the mail, they might go, man, finally somebody that maybe can help us. Give them a call. And sometimes they're very reluctant to give you a call or text you, but if you send out of 100 people mail outs, if you get 1 or 2 who cares? You got one or two. And if that's a potential house at $300,000 house at 3% commission, that's $9,000 just with one letter. And you spent 54 cents in stamps, you know? So don't think about it as, what if nobody calls me? Just think about, I just need one. Just one. Out of all the letters that I send, I just need one. Okay. Any other questions? See, I think there might be one. Oh, thank you. I want to see if there's any things. Did I answer your question on the divvy? I think I did. Any other
Hey,
questions?
Fernando,
Yes, ma'am.
I have just one simple question. If there's, what's the chances that somebody who's living off of disability payments are going to be able to buy a house?
Well, they lenders tend to always look for some kind of income, right? I mean, that would be more of a question to a lender. I'm not really sure how to answer that because lenders are always looking at consistency of employment is one of the requirements. So yeah, that's pretty tough to do when they just on disability.
Thanks.
But yeah, maybe you can talk to Divvy and talk to that other company and see if there's anything for them, you know. Like this one's the GRP community development. It says 3% down payment. They offer down payment assistance, and they handle they don't care about bad credit, late payments, judgments, or charge-offs. I mean, there might be a potential that you can talk to them. You know. Now this one, Divvy Home, says that continuous employment for at least 3 months. So that's probably not going to be for them, right? For the disabled.
Okay.
So I would probably call these guys here or get some information.
Is there
And that could be a niche. That could be a niche for you.
there's a contact. I think they were at the office one time over on Eldridge.
Yeah.
The guy was there to represent the GRP or GRDP.
Yeah. Stacy Foster told me about, let me see. I think it's GRP. Yeah, Jim Craig is the main contact that Stacy Foster uses, one of the mentors. And his number is 281.
Oh, wait a minute.
Well, I could probably, let me see if I can do it in chat too. Yeah. Let me,
Yeah, if you could put in chat that.
Yeah, I'm going to type it in chat. You can kind of see the number. And that's Stacy's Foster's contact. I just did it in chat. Did you get it? Do you see it in the chat?
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, okay. I got it. Thanks.
Yeah,
I remember they had a class. I think they were having a class for.
Yeah, they have classes too. Mm-hmm. As realtors, I would strongly suggest you attend whatever webinars or classes they have. You know, you can call Jim Craig and say, "Hey, when is y'all's next class?" And then go over there. You know, and let's try to let's try to add value to you guys that you can offer, right?
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions, guys? And just, you know, Matrix is really powerful. You can, you know, generate a lot of data through here. And I would suggest you use it. Like if you wanted to see who the owners were, you can always click on their tax account numbers. And it tells you who the owners' names are. And you can send 2 letters, one to the renter and one to the owner. You know, and say, "Hey, owner, just wondering if you're thinking about selling your house. It's still a seller's market. You know, give me a call." You can do that too. You know, like that one's probably owned by it looks like it's an LLC. This one's owned by Linda Martin. You can send Linda, and here's her mailing address right here. It says billing address. That's where they actually live. And send a letter there. You know, use the same format letter, but instead of saying to whom it may concern, you can say Miss MS, and then their last name, and then write the letter up saying, hey, we're still in the seller's market, thinking about selling. Give me a call. Okay. Any other questions, guys? Try to use Matrix, like I said, to download your data. Manipulate
it. You said we can just email you and you can send this to us, Fernando?
Send you the templates?
Yeah, the letters and the
yeah.
Okay.
I'm also going to post them on the church training folder, but I'll send them to you. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm going to write my email address here so like that everybody can. Oh, well, you know what? It's on my letter. Here it is. Oh, that's right. Here's my email address. Contact. Just send me an email and I'll send you these templates. Yeah. All righty. Well, thank you guys for your time. I really appreciate it. And y'all have a good, safe, and enjoyable 4th of July on Monday.
You too.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Thanks, Fernando.
Thank you.